This is Eugene Pandrutkovich. I'm the laptop screen doc, and the name of the website is www.screensurgeons.com. Today we have a HP TouchSmart, HP Envy TouchSmart 15-J laptop with a cracked touchscreen, and I'm going to show you how to replace a cracked touchscreen on the HP Envy 15-J laptop. Also, when we replace the touchscreen, I'll show you how to replace the LCD behind the touchscreen if necessary. So first thing is we need to talk a little bit about this laptop. It is a touchscreen, and the touchscreen part is different from the LCD part. It's a separate piece of glass in front of the LCD that is the touchscreen. And the second thing is about the model number. It's a HP 15-J. So there's several variations of the HP 15 laptop. And this procedure in this video is about the 15-J, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we remove the battery, slide the lever to the right, and remove the battery, and we see all the labeling on behind the battery, and then we find the model number of this laptop. So you see H model 15-J052NR. So this is where the first number after the dash is the J. There can be an N or it can be some other number, I think a P also, and the procedure is slightly different for each one. This is for 15-J. And once we remove the battery, and we keep the battery out so we don't have any sources of power to the laptop when we are working on it. Okay, next step. Next thing we're going to talk about the tools and the parts that we're going to use for this. We have our standard toolkit which we ship with the laptops. And here's the tools. We have a hobby knife or X-Acto knife with a pointed end, and that's used to pry things open, to lift up adhesive tape, and to pry things open to lift up adhesive tape. We have a pair of metal tweezers to remove any screws that may be stuck, and also it helps to put the screws back in. And we have a PH0 screwdriver. So that's the standard toolkit. In addition, since this is a touchscreen, we have some other items that we need. So we have scissors to cut the adhesive tape, a blow dryer or a hair dryer, and you can use a hair dryer, and that's to heat up the touchscreen assembly to remove the bezel from around the touchscreen assembly, and two different types of adhesive tape. One is just thin double-sided adhesive tape, 5 millimeters wide, and that's to glue the screen bezel back to the digitizer. And the second, it's called adhesive foam tape. It has a really thin piece of foam in it, and that's to buffer the screen from the digitizer so it rides on the cushion. I'll show you what I'm talking about when we get there. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is there's two ways to do this. There's the easy way and the hard way. The hard way would be to remove the screen assembly first from the rest of the laptop. You have to remove a lot of screws from the bottom, take out the bottom cover, and then take out the whole screen assembly. And the reason why is there's some screws here at an odd angle which you have to get to. And the easy way is just to get to these screws without removing the bottom case. The disadvantage of that is when you're putting the screws in, it's pretty hard to put the inner screws in. So if you're at home and not as experienced with this, you might have to leave out the two inner screws, which is okay because they're not structural. But I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's get started. First is there's two covers over here and over here where the screws are hiding behind. They're plastic covers, and we're going to use our hobby knife to lift those up to expose the screws. And we see the screws. So this is the inner screw that I was talking about. Once you remove it, it'll be hard to put it back in unless you remove the whole screen assembly, but that's okay. You can just go with one screw. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Lift up the adhesive tape and put it on the side. Okay, next is tilt the screen as far as it goes, and using the hobby knife, engage the screw in an angle, and make sure you start with quite a bit of force or pressure at the very beginning so as not to strip the screws, and then start turning the screw, and it comes out. There's one. And the same thing with this. Use a lot of force at the beginning so it's engaging the screw, and start turning the screw until it comes out. like so. And we use the tweezers to remove the screw. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to show you the best way to put this outer screw back in. Unless you're really skilled at this, unless you're a repair shop, I want to try to put the inner screw back in. So what you want to do is use the tweezers to grab the screw and put it at the right angle. So it's at the right angle. And then gently start screwing back in. That's how you're going to screw the screw in. And once again, you can use the same procedure for the inner screw, but it's a lot harder. So you can try it, but I wouldn't give it much chance of success if you're doing this first time. Okay, second side, the same procedure. So we use a lot of force to engage the screw the first time, and then we remove it. There's one. And same on this side. Until it comes out. Okay, so we use our tweezers to remove this screw. Okay, next is we're going to snap the front part of the screen from the back part of the screen. That part includes the bezel and the digitizer, that touchscreen part. And what we want to do is use our hobby knife and find an opening at the top somewhere and gently probe until we can find somewhere we can put our hobby knife in to snap it open. So first, it might take a little bit. Okay, so I found a place here right at the corner. So doing this, just twist the hobby knife out to snap the front part of the bezel from the back, and it'll start to give. This is giving a little bit faster than usual because I already took it apart once. So for you, it probably won't go as fast. And we keep moving. Just work your way around the screen assembly. Take your time on this. Okay, now, yeah, just keep going on this. And we go to the other side and keep doing the same thing. And when we got the top part disengaged, you can see that there's a connector here. So be careful with this connector. When you're going to have to lift up from the bottom. And this is already loose, but I'm going to show you what we still have to do. There's a seam in here on the bottom of the laptop. So you stand it up on the side and use the hobby knife to open up the seam from the bottom of the laptop using the same procedure. And this, for me, it already came out because I already took this digitizer out once. So once you do that, gently lift up the digitizer. And the best way to do this is then to close the laptop and put the digitizer on top of the laptop. And you can see there's a cable connector going here. So what we're going to do is use our fingernails to push this metal piece back and fold it open, and we see exposed is the connector to the digitizer. So then we peel this tape back here and gently disengage this connector. So being careful not to damage it. And we were able to pull it out. Just gently pull it out, and before we go further to connect it, you just squeeze it back in, just push it back in, and it's in. And then we're going to pull it out again, like so. So the digitizer and the bezel is off the laptop. So a couple brief words about the laptop. The LCD screen after that is really easy to remove and replace. I'm not going to do it in this video because it's going to take too long, but refer to my HP Pavilion 15 video, and when you're at this stage on the video, it's exactly the same. So you remove the screen and remove the connector and put a new screen in. But we're not going to do it in this case. So we close the laptop, and now we're going to concentrate on the bezel and the digitizer. We're actually going to put the laptop to the side for us to give us working space. And also at home or in a shop, when you do this, make sure you have some paper towels underneath this because there's going to be some shattered glass, and you don't want to shatter glass all over the place. So make sure you have a paper towel to catch it. Okay, so let's take a look at this digitizer assembly. So the back of the digitizer has some foam tape. So this is the same foam tape I was talking about. So you can either use some new foam tape or reuse the old foam tape. I'm going to show you how to reuse the foam tape also. So what you want to do is peel it off from the back of the digitizer, and you want to do it before you start removing the digitizer from the LCD. Okay, in this case, the adhesive comes off real easy. So in this case, I'm just going to reuse this foam tape. So it looks like it's real easy to peel off. So we're going to peel it off piece by piece. And we can, I'm going to speed up the video right here. I'm not going to talk until I peel it off. Okay, we're done with the foam tape. As you can see, I carefully laid the pieces out and we're going to save them for later. We're not going to use this foam tape in this case. Okay, next is separating the digitizer, the glass part, from the plastic part, the bezel. This is where we use a heat gun. What we're going to do is heat up a small part of the assembly, and then where it's heated up, we're going to use either our hobby knife, or we're just going to push from the inside out to separate the plastic part from the digitizer. So let's start. I'm going to speed up the tape here again. Okay, we're going to talk again here for a little while. You see that the metal part with the circuit board, it's part of the digitizer, and there's an opening in the plastic where it goes through. So just take a note of that. And we keep going. Okay, we're back. You can see that there's some glass particles, so be careful with those. Okay, next item. We're really fortunate in this case that the adhesive stuck to the bezel side, to the plastic part, instead of sticking to the glass part, because it looks like we can reuse this adhesive now. And we just make sure that there's no glass pieces, clean off any glass shards on there, and make sure it's flat everywhere. And we're just going to put our new digitizer right on top. So it looks like it's good all around. Now, if this was not the case, if the adhesive came off, this product, this is a 3M double-sided adhesive tape. We'll have it online in our catalog in the fall. So you can use this product instead. And what you do in this case is peel off a piece, use the scissors to cut that piece off. Okay, put it down where you want it to stick. I'm not going to put it down in this case, but we would put it down like this. And then once you put it down, you use your hobby knife or X-Acto knife to lift up the other side, the paper side. Let's see if I can. I don't think I can do it here because it's not sticking to anything. But you use the hobby knife to lift up the paper side so it comes off, and then you have the same type of adhesive sticking on the bezel. But we're not going to do it in this case. Okay, so we get our new 15-J digitizer. And this is what it looks like. Make sure it's the right thing. HP TouchSmart Beats Audio, and it goes on like this with the TouchSmart labeling on the front. And this metal part, it goes through this slot up here. Okay, before we do that, there's a plastic sheet. So we're gonna take off this plastic sheet. And when we do this, we want to be careful not to touch the glass part. If you do end up touching the glass part, that's okay, no biggie. Just use just a phone screen cleaner or a glass cleaner or not a lint-free tissue to clean off any fingerprints. So we take it off and then fold this part, this metal piece. Make sure that it goes through first, and then carefully line up the edges so everything's lined up on every side, and just slowly put everything back in place so it snaps back in place. And I think we were able to do it like so. So the digitizer is back in the bezel. If you have problems getting it in, use the blow dryer to heat everything up like this, and just gently use the blow dryer to heat it up and just gently work it in with your fingertips. And same on this side. Okay, at this stage, next we want to put our foam tape back in. So we got to remember which piece goes where. Keep track of that. We put the thick piece at the top and just start at the corner and work your way over. Make sure you don't stretch it when you put it down. Okay, I'm gonna speed up the tape here again. Okay, the problem I'm encountering, it's a little bit longer than we started with. So what I'm gonna do is start again and make sure it's not stretched. Okay, and we're gonna carefully lay it down. Don't stretch it when you lay down. And we're still a little bit stretched. So what I'm going to do at the end is just cut this piece off with the scissors. So we have this little tail over here. I'm going to cut the tail off, and now we're good. So the foam tape is down. And I'm going to cut a little bit here too. Okay, next we put this thin piece down. Make sure it doesn't get on the screen. Like so. Finally, the last piece. And everything. I'm gonna redo this piece over here because it goes into the screen a little bit. And everything fits. Okay, at this point, I would use a lens cleaner to clean it, make sure there's no fingerprints or smudges. I left a little smudge here, which I'm gonna clean later on. And then I'm gonna clean up the glass a little bit. Okay, maybe use a wet towel, or just, if you have a paper towel lying underneath, just toss out the paper towel with the glass pieces. And then I'm gonna get the laptop again and open it up. So what we did before, so let's make sure we don't have this piece. What we did before was we disconnected this piece. So what we're gonna do is reverse the procedure, and actually what I'm seeing right away is this is a defective screen because the connector is missing. But we're going to pretend that's not a defective screen. I'll replace it later. So what we do is reconnect this connector like I showed you right here, and then fold it over with the cable in place and put it like this. Once we do that, we're still pretending that this is actually connected. Once we do that, we open up the laptop, fold it over like this with the connector still in there, and then lower the bezel in with the connector still in there, and snap everything in place just the same way as we unsnap it. You'll also see that there's a film here, and we're going to remove the film towards the very end, and then put in the 2 screws on the side. If you can't get to the screws in the middle, that's fine. As I said before, they're not structural, so they just hold the bezel to the back of the screen assembly, and then there's enough other stuff holding it. The structural screws are this one and this one over here and over here, so we're okay. Okay, then you put the adhesive, the 2 pieces of plastic on the sides after you put the screws in, and you're done. Okay, we at Screen Surgeons sell this part, the one we ship you. 99% chance will not be defective. If it is defective, apologies ahead of time. Contact us and we'll ship you another one. This is a HP 15-J digitizer that we'll ship, and we saw this part online. You can buy it from us from Screen Surgeons. What you get with us is this exact same toolkit that I used. It's going to come for free with this digitizer. It can also be used to replace the LCD. And also, we have free shipping in the United States. You use priority mail, and if you live outside the United States, we can ship to most countries around the world. Just follow the regular checkout procedure. To buy from us, go to www.screensurgeons.com. There'll be a brief form for you to fill out with the right model number, and then that will guide you to buy the right digitizer or the LCD screen online. So specify if you need the LCD screen or if you need the digitizer. And also, if you search our online store, you will have the part number of the LCD screen that you need. So we have the HP 15-J LCD and the 15-J digitizer. Okay, that's it. Once again, my name is Eugene Panrutkovich. I'm the laptop screen doc, and the name of the website is www.screensurgeons.com. Thank you very much, and good luck.